Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Once upon a time, there were three bears who lived in a house in the woods. There was Father Bear, who was huge, and Mother Bear, who was middle-sized, and Baby Bear, who was tiny. They all had their own bowls for their porridge, their own chairs to sit on, and their own beds to sleep in. One day, after Mother Bear had made the porridge, they went for a walk while the porridge was cooling. While the bears were away, a little girl called Goldilocks came by and looked through the window into their house. Goldilocks was a naughty little girl, and the next thing she did was to open the door and go into the house. There on the table were three bowls of porridge. Goldilocks tasted the porridge in the big bowl, but that was too hot. Next, she tasted the porridge in the middle-sized bowl, and that was too cold. But when she tasted the porridge in the little bowl, it was just right, and Goldilocks ate it all up. Then Goldilocks looked around the room. She saw the three chairs. When she sat in the biggest chair, she found it was too hard for her. Next, she sat in the middle-sized chair, and that was much too soft. Then she sat in the smallest chair, and she found that it felt just right. But this little chair wasn't strong enough to hold Goldilocks. It broke, and Goldilocks landed with a bump on the floor. Next, this naughty little girl wondered what else she could find, and she decided to go upstairs. There she saw the three beds, and because by now she was beginning to feel tired, she lay down on the very big bed. This bed was much too hard, so she tried the middle-sized bed. That was much too soft, and so she went and lay on the smallest bed. That was just right. Goldilocks curled up, and soon she was fast asleep. By now the bears were hungry for their porridge, and they went home. But when they went inside their house, they knew someone had been there. "Who's been eating my porridge?" said Father Bear in his huge, gruff voice. "Who's been eating my porridge?" said Mother Bear in her middle-sized voice.
"Someone's been eating my porridge, and they've eaten it all up,"
cried Baby Bear in his tiny, squeaky voice. Then they looked around the room. "Someone's been sitting in my chair," said Father Bear. "Someone's been sitting in my chair," said Mother Bear.
"Someone's been sitting in my chair, and they've broken it,"
shouted Baby Bear. The bears thought they had better search the rest of the house, and so they went upstairs. The three bears looked around. "Who's been lying in my bed?" roared Father Bear in his huge, gruff voice. "Who's been lying in my bed?" asked Mother Bear in her middle-sized voice. But when Baby Bear looked at his bed, he cried out in his tiny, squeaky voice,
"Someone's been lying in my bed, and she's still there."
The sound of the voices woke Goldilocks. She sat up in bed and saw the three bears looking at her. She was so surprised that she jumped out of bed, ran down the stairs, and out of the door as fast as she could, and away into the woods. The three bears started to chase after her, but the naughty Goldilocks had gone. They never saw her again, and the three bears lived happily ever after. The end.